Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer on AI system design. Today, we're diving straight into one of the absolute highest stakes pipelines being built right now, the Clinical Scribe. We're pulling these insights directly from Chapter 11 of Cracking the AI System Design Interview, really digging into how we take messy, real-world patient conversations and turn them into structured medical data. So, why build this? Well, studies from major academic medical centers are showing that ambient AI scribes can save clinicians roughly 16 minutes of documentation time per shift. Now, 16 minutes, that might not sound like a massive deal at first, but when you add it up, that's literally enough time to let a doctor see an extra patient every couple of weeks. But honestly, the bigger win here is deflecting that crushing cognitive burden of writing notes after hours, finally freeing them to look away from the screen and actually focus on the patient sitting right in front of them.
But, and this is a massive but, the risk of getting this wrong is just immense. Get this, an audit actually found some AI scribes out in the wild were straight up fabricating 45% of medical information. Worse, they were recording the wrong medications 60% of the time. I mean, wow, that is a truly terrifying statistic. In a corporate email, an AI hallucination is, a bit embarrassing. In healthcare, an AI making up a medication dose or inventing a symptom is a critical, potentially lethal safety event.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the stakes, defining the target, the extraction engine, grounding data, evaluating AI, and finally, the human guardrail.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the stakes, where we balance the risk versus the reward.
Okay, so the core tension here is just a massive balancing act. On one side, you've got the burden. Clinicians are spending a huge chunk of their day just typing up notes, which is a leading driver of clinical burnout. But on the flip side, we have the danger. We absolutely have to balance that desperate need to relieve the documentation burden against the harsh reality that an AI simply cannot hallucinate a medical record. The margin for error here is literally zero. Moving on to Section 2, defining the target, which brings us to the SOAP note. To do this safely, we can't just toss the audio to an AI and ask for a generic summary. That doesn't work. The target here is highly specific. It's the SOAP note. Generating a structured SOAP note has been the absolute backbone of clinical documentation for decades. Why? Because it directly mirrors a doctor's actual clinical reasoning. This really brilliantly illustrates how that SOAP acronym breaks the whole encounter down. Subjective is what the patient tells you. Objective captures the hard physical exam findings and vitals. Assessment is the clinician's diagnosis, and the plan is, well, the next steps. Our AI scribe needs to perfectly replicate this exact structure, but, and this is key, using only what was actually spoken out loud in the room. That brings us to Section 3, the extraction engine, taking us from audio to a structured note. So, how do we actually pull this off technically? How do we take a messy, rambling conversation and build a reliable pipeline? Well, it's a 6-step journey. We're going to track exactly how we get from raw, unfiltered audio all the way to a safe, finalized draft note. Right, it starts with Step 1, transcription. We use medical automatic speech recognition along with speaker diarization. Now, medical ASR is way tougher than your standard speech-to-text because a single garbled drug name is a major clinical error. And diarization, equally crucial. It separates the doctor's voice from the patient's so we know exactly who said what. Next up is Step 2, segmenting. Let's be real. Actual medical encounters aren't just rapid-fire clinical data. They're mostly conversation. Greetings, asking about the kids, small talk. The system has to actively segment the audio and drop that chatter, ensuring the AI extractor only spends its processing power on the true clinical signals. Then we hit Step 3, which is the extraction step. This is where the magic happens. The system pulls out the critical structured facts using named entity recognition. See, we aren't just summarizing text here. We are actively hunting for specific, concrete clinical concepts buried within that transcript. The system is scanning for symptoms, exact medication doses, and patient attributions. But crucially, and pay attention to this part, it tracks negations as a first-class entity. Why does that matter so much? Because if an AI silently flips a patient denies chest pain to a patient reports chest pain, it completely inverts the patient's medical history. It is one of the most common and, frankly, dangerous errors an AI scribe can make. All right, Section 4, grounding data and standardizing healthcare. Once we've extracted those entities, they're really just free text words. Step 4 is all about grounding. This maps a free text finding, say heart attack, into exact standardized codes. We're talking SNOMED CT for clinical concepts, ICD-10 for billing, and RX norm for drugs. This transforms a messy wall of text into structured data that talks directly to the hospital's billing and EHR systems. Moving on to step 5, we take those grounded entities and build out the SOAP structure. But the real superpower here is something called per statement provenance. Basically, we make sure every single generated statement carries an auditable trace right back to the exact transcript span. A doctor can literally click any line in the note and instantly see the exact words spoken in the room that back it up. Which leads perfectly into section 5, evaluating AI, or measuring what actually matters. To actually trust this whole pipeline, we have to face facts. AI is non-deterministic. Because of that, we have to strictly separate our evaluation metrics. Extraction accuracy tracks dropped details. It's measuring the precision and recall of the true facts. But hallucination rate, that tracks invented facts, which is the ultimate hard ceiling for patient safety. An AI can be amazing at extracting real details while still occasionally inventing a lethal new medication dose. You absolutely have to measure both of these independently. And finally, section 6, the human guardrail, safety at the very last step. This incredibly strict evaluation philosophy brings us to step 6. Before any clinician even lays eyes on the note, the faithfulness check kicks in. An independent AI critic, totally separate from the one that drafted the note, checks every single statement against the original transcript. It's asking one very simple question: is this fully supported by what was actually said in the room? If the statement is supported, great, it goes into the draft. But if it's not supported, it is immediately flagged and blocked. That means a fabricated medication dose or some invented symptom literally cannot reach a signed record without explicit human review. It acts as a hard stop, completely breaking the dangerous autonomy of the AI. And this human wall isn't static. It's backed by a continuous loop of production monitoring. As clinicians review and correct these notes in the real world, the system catches drift, like new accents or shifting clinical vocabulary. It then feeds those edge cases right back into our reference data sets. So day by day, the system is getting smarter and safer. So as we wrap up this explainer and you go off to build your own systems, I want you to consider this. In high-stakes environments, how do we balance the incredible, undeniable efficiency of AI autonomy with the absolute necessity of human accountability? I think the Clinical Scribe proves something profound. The best AI system design isn't about replacing humans at all. It's about how elegantly we can engineer the machine to hand control right back to them.